everybody. I'm Christopher Nault. I am the founder and CEO of Growth. I'm a self-diagnosed ABM maniac. I'm going to do everything possible in the next 20 minutes to empower you to create the best target account list so you can supercharge your next or first ABM campaign. This lesson will be recorded and shared, so wherever you digest your content, I'm sure you'll find a copy. Today, we should learn what I mean about being a best target account list, not just a target account list, the resources you need, and our methodology. Then I'll demo the process, and hopefully your mind will be blown. At that point, we'll turn off the recording, create a safe place for anybody that has any questions. Questions preferably around ABM or the target account list. So as I mentioned, I am the CEO and founder of Growth. I've spent 17 years as an agency owner being anti-outbound. As new tools hit the market and the needs of our customers evolved, we spent several years of intensive research and development, leading to what we now call Growth ABM. At Growth, we strive to do great business with companies who do great business. And quick shameless plug, Growth has been creating a library of amazing micro lessons with some of our favorite partners like Apollo, HubSpot, and Databox, and of course the Growth team. So take a minute, scan that QR code, be our 17th or 18th subscriber, and then check out what we've got going on there. So what is a target account list? Basically, it's a list of companies based loosely on data, a sales director's priorities, or maybe your board of directors wish list. This list is made with desires, not value, that enter the whole tiered target approach. But what is a best target account list? I know the name needs some work, but this is a list of companies your sales and marketing teams are working together to attract and engage with. These companies share a lot of similarities with the customers that you work best. This list should be short and concise. Why is having a best list versus a normal list so important? Well, the best list works. They generate more high closing pipeline faster. You're able to deliver highly personalized messages that create offers that resonate. It's plain and simple. I want to quickly remind you about some of the important ABM considerations. First, we are all aware that ABM is, for obvious reasons, very resource heavy. But for companies who are selling 40,000, 100,000, 500,000, million, and millions to new customers in their first year, the ROI around ABM is in the thousands of percent. ABM is technically not hard, but there is a massive amount of work needing to be done by humans and automation. And then the emotional and physical cost of planning, hiring, hypothesizing, A, B, Z testing, and reporting, it's a lot. But the maths. And when it's done right, it's like you built your very own Death Star, ready to hit a very specific target. But before we get aiming, we need to take a quick talk about max capacity or output limit. What is an output limit? For every person that you are running ABM on behalf as, your output limit is 40 emails per day. When you boil that down, that allows one person to target 300 companies, roughly 1,000 contacts over the course of a quarter. We want to find market segments that fit within our output limit so that we are achieving 100% market saturation or being very close to it. So if you have 10 people running ABM at your company, you have a capacity of roughly 3,000 companies each quarter. Yes, you can replace contacts that opt out, are bad, or etc. Please be wary of the Federal Trade Commission Can Spam Act guide. There's going to be a lot to cover, but just remember, please allow for 20% of your bandwidth to be saved for intent-based outreach. Intent-based outreach will have its own micro lesson soon. So essentially, the strategy changes based on the company's available and output limit. The pro tip, if you're a small team, get really niche. And if you want to reach more people, you have to have more people in the ABM program. Don't use dummy domains. Don't use dummy emails. Now back to the Death Star. We know that we have this powerful mega weapon to turn the tides of net new logo acquisition. But if we exert all of the energy in the wrong direction and we don't see results, we could put the program at risk and potentially your job at risk by missing. Kind of like if Death Star was shooting at Alderaan and just straight up missed. That would be not good. So we want to all agree on who we are going to point our laser at and the best way to turn your leads into space dust. Maybe the Death Star example wasn't great, but here's what you're going to need. People, data, and experience. For people, you're looking at sales directors, BDRs, your service team, your CEO, whoever wants to have an opinion about the results. For data, I recommend having CRM, sales reports, marketing reports, customer service reports. If you already have a pro or enterprise HubSpot suite, I can feel you smiling. All of this information is right at your fingertips. And if you don't, it's probably a little or a lot farther than your fingertips. From the sales team, we want to know, what are people asking? What's creating urgency? From the marketing team, what ads are firing? What content are people engaging with? Where on the website are they going? Maybe odd things like, hey, this ad is getting a ton of clicks, but nobody's following through with the CTA. Cool, let's talk about that. Service team, what issues are your people having? What are our customers raving about? Again, we're talking about the physical data reports mixed with the experience and knowledge of the people in the seat. So here we are, all together, virtually or in person, and together we want to create a list of our current best customers. And you can define this several different ways, but we're going to generally want to work together to create a list of a minimum of 10, but 10, 15, 20, whatever you have time for. The more energy you put into this exercise, the better the outcome. On this list, we're going to want to find the company's name. How did they find us? How much did they spend in that first year of being a customer? What is marketing noticing? What is sales and service noticing? Where are they located? And maybe an attribute like their annual revenue. This time is actually really worth running as well. And like the inverse, maybe take your 5, 10, 15, or 20 worst clients and put them on a board too and see if there's some similar characteristics. At growth, we like customers who communicate well, who see value in our work and have a growth mindset. Our volume of dollars is not a primary attribute that we're seeking, but our data shows that we work well with these types of companies, and they tend to expand services and they turn into our largest and happiest accounts. So we want more of them. Now we're going to lean into our CRM, sales, marketing, and service data. And we're going to be looking for some commonality or just common attributes that stand out. Location, industry, company size, annual revenue, and employee count. Those are all pretty easy to digest and really good starting points. You can also look for private equity or venture-backed companies. Another great option is using SIC codes, the government categorization for what a company is, and signals. All of these are important for you to translate, and it turns into searchable fields inside our preferred contact database, Apollo.io. I threw up a QR code. If you don't have Apollo.io now and you want a free account, just scan that, set you right up. I just want to point out there's a reason we use Apollo. So it is a shameless plug, but Apollo has proven they have a quality of data. They have a proven roadmap. They reinvest into their database. They've provided a massive amount of resources and have built an amazing community. The cost is great. It integrates really well with HubSpot. And they've been really great partners to us. I sit on the customer advisory board, and Jesse just yesterday won the community member of the year. Super exciting. I also strongly recommend you create a document to share and create basically your tribal knowledge. Give everyone access to it, and everyone should be able to create short bullet points or links to documents. This will become very handy for the marketing team when they're creating the assets. Things to include in this magic treasure chest, maybe words used by the customer or industry terms and slang, notes about what is working or not working in marketing and sales. And then as you're collaborating, hopefully you're coming up with creative ideas and maybe some nuances, and you can document all this. Again, it's going to turn into a bit of a treasure trove later in the campaign. Most companies are choosing to skip over this for the sake of time, but arguably this is the most enjoyable part of the adventure and the most beneficial. By following this format, you will have the personalization you'll need to create great email copy, ads, offers, landing pages, CTAs, and these will translate into great opportunities for your sales team. You now have some good information to create what I describe as the best target account list. So, armed with all this data, grab your database tool. We're going to be using Apollo. Apollo's ocean of companies and their database is 67.4 million. And we're going to start segmenting to find our target account list. You can have a lot of fun with this, but remember, I am an AB maniac, so I probably enjoy this too much. Now we're going to start searching through the list. Again, you are looking for a total addressable company list that takes up 80% of your outbound limits. Why 80%? Because I want you to save 20% for your intent outreach. Now let's pretend we're all the ABM team at Growth, and we're going to work together to create our best target account list. So we ran the above mentioned exercise, and we have decided and have found out that we work really well with B2B companies and paid education where you place students, particularly companies that are over 25 million a year in the United States, also companies that have international offices. And again, positive attitude, excuse me, companies who do great business and have like a fall forward mindset. We decide we want to target 3 specific groups with 4 people. 4 people means that our max output is 1,200 companies per quarter or 4,000 contacts. We're going to be looking for private schools in California and Florida, states where Growth both have offices. $50 billion to $100 million manufacturing companies or producers of tangible goods, primarily that are selling B2B. Now I'm going to plug this information into Apollo, boop, 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 and I find that I have 375 private schools. That's 30% of my max output in Florida and California in the primary and secondary education world. This is using the keywords private, preparatory, performing arts, and music. Now, as a pro hint, 375 is great. To make it really great, we can boil this list down a little bit more, and I don't have it showing on the screen, but if I were to just select California instead of Florida, that breaks down to 72 companies. This is important because my messaging can say, hey, California preparatory schools, and the more targeted your message, the better than just saying, hey, preparatory schools. Every nuance has a positive impact. So now we're going to switch over to the manufacturers. And so we're looking for $50 million to $100 million manufacturing companies selling goods. Boop, boop, boop. Turns out there's 716 of those companies. So together, we're at roughly 1,100, which is almost our full capacity, but that's okay. Some contacts and companies may fall out over the course of the quarter, and then we'll be able to replace them. So I'd say we got about, 110 capacity right now. So now we're going to turn all that information into a chart to break down who's going to be targeting what. And I'm super thankful for Growth's 4 ABM teammates. We're going to have Katrina, Jesse, Will, and Rick. All real people, all real wonderful people. Since Katrina has worked with so many schools, we're going to really have her working that primary, secondary education market that we were talking about. Jesse is going to handle the overlap of the school section and also do manufacturing. By the way, Jesse is like a pro ABMer. So like him seeing a split of emails, totally not an issue with him. Will in sales, he loves a manufacturer and golf. Hint, hint. So he's going to focus in on the California manufacturing overlap. And then Rick, although he's a part of the ABM program, we really want him to focus in on intent data. A lot of opinions about intent data. I am telling you for a fact it works. So we'll cover that on the upcoming micro lesson. You may have also noticed on this chart, I like to put what the role is of the person here. It says list, it should say role. Katrina and Jesse are both in service. So why are they in outbound sales capacities? We don't have salespeople. We've got Will, and I do some selling, but we really don't have like a sales team. So in our approach, we regularly just say we want to help. So why not have some of the helpers participate in the program? We'll cross that conversation, I'm sure, in another micro lesson. So in my opinion, we've created the best target account list. And this is how growth would create it if we or us were us. The better you know your customer, the more authentically you can introduce yourself and your service. Vibes matter. Be aware of the tone, methods, and expectations of the people in your target account list. And as far as now that you have the best target account list, now you have to start marketing to them. And we've got a bunch of micro lessons around that. So I hope this was helpful. I know from the companies that I talk to, the partners that I talk to, it's very stressful coming up with who are we going to market after. You're going to be okay. Put the time in to understand who your best customers are and start there. Hope that was helpful.